Barely 2 months into the second Trump administration, and the White House is already drowning in lawsuits and injunctions. Who would have seen it coming? You've got Judge James Boasberg, this good-looking dude. He's an Obama appointee, slamming the brakes on Trump's deportation flights. Trump invoked the Alien Enemies Act to deport members of one of the worst violent gangs in the world. And he was arguing that it was a matter of national security. But the judge said, no, it's not. Boasberg's order came when 2 flights full of gang members were already in the air on their way to El Salvador. Another Obama appointee, at the same time, Judge Theodore Chang, he was at least temporarily stopping Trump's plan to dismantle USAID. Gee, why would you want to do that? Maybe you're part of the money train, or do you just have funders that are part of the money train? Judge Chang ordered the Department of Government Efficiency to restore email and computer access for USAID employees. Oh, yeah, let's give them computer access. Then there's one of Biden's picks, Judge Anna Reyes. She halted the Pentagon's new policy that banned transgender soldiers from military service. Now, on the same day that Judge Boasberg issued his order, Judge Reyes issued a stay on the Pentagon policy, arguing that the Trump White House did not prove why this is necessary. Since when does the commander-in-chief need to explain to a court? Now, these are just one of the how many lawsuits? 162 lawsuits that have been filed against the Trump administration so far. And he's only been in office for 72 days. Okay, that's a pretty high number there, don't you think? The judges have at least issued 15 injunctions so far, though it's hard to keep track daily with the changes that are happening so rapidly in these cases. Now, how does that compare to Joe Biden's first 72 days in office? Well, they were piling up with him, too. The lawsuits, he had, count them, 3. 1 injunction. So I want to talk to you tonight about who are these judges? Who are these people? And who is behind it? Now, you're not going to find this surprising, but this is not just politics as usual. It is a coordinated assault to gum up the works of the Trump administration, so it spends the next 4 years in court instead of taking apart the deep state. So let's look at the main players behind these lawsuits, because it's shocking. Shocking. How have we ever seen these people before? No. First, let's take a look at American Oversight. This cute little organization here. They're involved in multiple suits, including one that was filed last week over the whole Signal chat mess. American Oversight was launched in 2017. What a shock. It was right after Donald Trump entered the White House for the first time. And it was created specifically to fight against Trump at every turn. Its status as a 501c3 nonprofit means it relies on donations and grants. But it doesn't disclose any of its sponsors, but it also doesn't seem to have any funding problems. I wonder why. In fact, when the American Oversight launched, one of its senior advisors empathetically told USA Today, we can't do it. We just can't do it. We don't discuss our donors. Oh, such empathy for these people. Isn't it great? Now, I'll get back to the American Oversight in just a minute. As you will see, it's pretty clear who their likely donors are. Next, Democracy Forward. Now, this one is really super special. They've also filed multiple lawsuits. What I'm showing you up the chalkboard, this is the vast majority of all these lawsuits. This one lawsuit included their request to Judge Boasberg to halt Trump's deportation flights of gang members and a case against eliminating the Department of Education. Democracy Forward was also started, this is so weird, in 2017. Huh. Same time. What are the odds? Just as Trump took office, just like American Oversight, and its mission was to make legal challenges to Trump policies. Now, they spent the last 2 years planning for all of their lawsuits before Trump did anything. Wow. That's like, I've got to hire an accident attorney. Why, has there been an accident? No, but there's going to be one. and he's already preparing for it. Oh, that doesn't seem suspicious at all. Anyway, they would file all of these lawsuits if Trump won the election. Now, they wanted to use Heritage Foundation's Project 2025 as their blueprint, so they went after that. The chairman of Democracy Forward, the board of director, the chairman, is Mark Elias. Now, why do we know that name? Well, he's the mega lawyer for Democrats, who I've mentioned, tons of times over the last couple of years. He was general counsel for the one and only Hillary Clinton during her 2016 presidential campaign. That's weird. And then he was also running the DNC in 2020 and for Kamala Harris's campaign last year. But he's neutral on these things. And then there's the captain of this whole enterprise, this guy, Norm Eisen. Love Normie. He's great. You've heard me talk about him, too. He is the co-founder of CREW, Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. Ethics. He's also the co-founder of a newer group called State Democracy Defenders Fund. Ooh. 1 month before Trump started his second term in office, his State Democracy Defenders Fund had already requested records from 16 federal agencies about interactions with the new Department of Global Efficiency. He wasn't even in the office yet. But no, we got to know what Doge is doing. Now, where have we seen this dude before? Because I know we've seen him someplace. Well, during the 2019 Trump impeachment effort, he was the special counsel for Adam Schiff and the House Impeachment Committee. So if you're on with Adam Schiff, you know all about ethics. Eisen is a lawfare zealot with one driving passion, and that is removing Donald Trump from office. Well, they tried that before, so why not just bury him in so many lawsuits that he can't get anything done? Here he is on MSNBC in February.
The lawsuits we're bringing, I'm planning 100 this year. 100. The lawsuits we're bringing are designed as part of that. And it's starting to work because you can't do it in the courts of law alone. You need the court of public opinion. And what did we see this week in parallel with our Treasury lawsuit, that first Treasury case? Peaceful protesters for the first time starting to show up at the Treasury building around the country.
I hate these people so much. I'm sorry, I have to say it. I just hate them so much. It is so evil what they're doing. Earlier in that interview with the man who pronounces bringing, he hyped his research into autocratic rules around the world, which helped him develop something he calls the democracy playbook. Gee, we've heard that on this program before, haven't we? It's been on the chalkboard. It's the 7 pillars to defend democracy, which Eisen and his colleagues declared to be in crisis before Trump was even sworn in for the second time. Ironically, their second pillar is defending the rule of law against legal abuses. And yet Eisen's groups are flooding the system with dozens of lawsuits, with 100 planned for this year alone. I can't wait to see what's coming. If Eisen's democracy playbook sounds familiar, it's because it is an updated version of the same playbook he pushed back in 2020, which I told you about in an episode that you can find on BlazeTV.com. In that version of his playbook, Eisen went on and wrote about the importance of opposition leaders like himself pursuing impeachment when dealing with dangerous, scary autocratic leaders like Donald Trump. Eisen drafted 10 articles of impeachment 1 month before Nancy Pelosi had even announced an official impeachment inquiry of Trump in 2019. Which one's driving the car? In fact, as soon as the Democrats retook the House in 2018, Congressman Jerry Nadler hired Eisen to get ready for that impeachment. But guess what? The plot to impeach Trump went back even further. It went back so far. They were ready to impeach him before he even took office the first time. That's quite a miracle. The weekend of President Trump's inauguration in 2017, David Brock, we know him. He's the head of Media Matters. He put together a retreat in Florida with over 100 left-wing donors. Do you remember that? So the weekend he got into office, to map out how the Democrats would, quote, kick Donald Trump's ass. Oh, that sounds so official, doesn't it? Media Matters, along with Crew, produced a 50-page memo from that conference. We talked about it here. We went through it right after that meeting. Who was the co-founder of Crew? Yeah, Normie. The memo said that Crew would be responsible for filing lawsuits against President Trump. Crew fulfilled that mission, and now they're doing it again. But you might remember Crew, so we got to have something else. The memo also said, and I quote, Trump will be defeated either through impeachment or at the ballot box in 2020. Okay. That means Norm Eisen wrote that democracy playbook, which includes impeachment as a strategy for regime change, and who is also the special counsel to the Democrats' House Impeachment Committee. He was helping plan Trump's removal before Trump even took the first oath of office. Here's the key. Right at the top of Media Matters and Crew's action plan, it says, and I quote, the progressive infrastructure groups that we have built together were started long before Hillary Clinton ran for president. They were always intended to be the first of line of defense and offense when we're under siege. Wow, I thought you cared about the country, not your party. I mean, if they thought they were under siege in 2017, imagine their panic right now. And it couldn't happen to nicer people. That Florida retreat assembled by David Brock is directly connected to the flood of current lawsuits that American Oversight and Democracy Forward are both, creating as a result of that retreat to attack Donald Trump. So all of this is happening, and it's all with the same people. Now, American Oversight senior advisor Melanie Sloan, she co-founded Crew with Norm Eisen. And then one of the group's lawyers used to work for American Bridge 21st Century, which is the PAC founded by David Brock to conduct opposition research against Republicans. By the way, speaking of opposition research, let me take you back for a blast from the past. Mark, remember him? Hillary Clinton's campaign chair. And you know who else was a campaign chair? It was John Podesta. John Podesta. Wait a minute, John Podesta. He helped create Democracy Forward, and then aren't they both connected? Oh, yeah, they are. To the discredited Steele dossier. These are the people that put together the whole Trump-Russia collusion lie. And they're still being listened to by half the country. And then Norm Eisen. He was one of Obama's White House ethics czars. Oh, really? Yeah. Then Obama appointed him to the Czech Republic as the ambassador. Eisen's Crew collaborated with David Brock in Media Matters. They went back over here with these guys to, strategize on that 2017 strategy retreat where they were determined to impeach Trump before he even took office or did anything. Here's Eisen again on MSNBC in February.
We are not the only nation that has had an autocratic takeover. It happened in Poland. It happened in Brazil. It happened where I was ambassador, Czech Republic. All three of those countries got to the other side. They ousted autocratic regimes like Trump and Musk. There's always an oligarch. Right. Whenever you've got a dictator, you got an oligarch by his side.
Got a money man.
It's crazy. Whenever you have these things, there's always an oligarch. Somebody who's just getting rich and has billions of dollars and just wants to run stuff. Who could that be? Pause for a minute just to let the irony of that comment sink in. There's always an oligarch. He's right. He's right. There is always an oligarch. And it's always the guy at the very top of the pyramid. Same guy. George Soros. The king of oligarchs. Okay? Donating by his own count. How much money? $32 billion. $32 billion to the Democrat and left-wing activism since he started Open Society Foundation. Wow. Soros has funded Eisen's crew. Where are they? Crew. Right here. That's George Soros. Media Matters. That's George Soros. Oh, by the way, that's also Hillary Clinton. Lawfare bombarding the Trump White House right now, coming from the exact same left-wing nucleus that powered the Russia collusion hoax and the impeachment during the Trump first term. They're also the same people that were in bed with this guy, Barack Obama. Nothing has changed. The more things change, the more they stay exactly the same on the left. If there is a case to be made that we are on the verge of a constitutional crisis, I don't think it's because of Trump's doge or his executive orders. It is clearly because of the totally coordinated attacks from these guys.